Hey everyone, today I want to deal with a statement that people throw at Christians all the time. And the statement is this: Jesus never claimed to be God. Now, you'll hear people say this to you in conversation, or maybe you'll hear this on the History Channel. People say, look, Jesus never ever said he was God. That's something the disciples made up, or the Apostle Paul made up, or later Christians made up. But Jesus, he never said he was God. Jesus never got up and said, I am God. But the careful reader of the Bible will understand that actually Jesus claimed to be God numerous times in the Gospels. And if you know a little bit about the background of the Bible and something about Jewish culture, then you can see that actually Jesus did claim to be God, and people really understood what he was saying. So let's dig into it a little bit. First, Jesus used the personal name of God for himself. In the Old Testament, God revealed his personal name to Moses and to us. And the personal name, we usually pronounce that is Yahweh. That is the name of the one true creator God. Well, one day Jesus was having this discussion with a crowd, and they were talking about Abraham, the patriarch of the Hebrew people. And Jesus says how Abraham looked forward to the day that Jesus would be born. And everyone's like kind of confused. They're like, Jesus, you're kind of a young guy. You weren't alive when Abraham was alive. He was alive long before you. And in the midst of this discussion, Jesus makes this incredible statement in John 8:58. Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am." Jesus says, look, I've been around a lot longer than Abraham. Before Abraham was, I am. You see what Jesus is doing there? He's taking the personal name of God, Yahweh, which is also translated as I am, and he's applying it to himself. He's saying that I am Yahweh. I am the great I am of the Bible. He's saying I am God. Now you might think, well, are we sure that's exactly what Jesus meant and that's what the people heard? Well, yes, because all you have to do is read the next verse. So they picked up stones to throw at him, but Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple. What did the people do? They freak out, and they freak out because this guy has just claimed to be God, which is blasphemy unless you're God, so they go to stone him. So Jesus claimed to be God. He claimed to be Yahweh, the I am. Well, let's look at another point. Jesus's opponents said he claimed to be God. Now, if you read the Bible and you don't see Jesus use the words, I am God, you might say, well, Jesus never claimed to be God. But again, if you put yourself into the Jewish culture and into the biblical world, you'll see that everyone understood that Jesus was claiming to be God, and it got him into a lot of trouble, like in John 10. Jesus said, I and the Father are one. The Jews picked up stones again to stone him. Jesus answered them, I have shown you many good works from the Father. For which of them are you going to stone me? The Jews answered, it's not for a good work that we're going to stone you, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself God. In verse 30, we jump into this conversation, and Jesus makes this incredible claim. He says, I and the Father are one. And what he's doing, he's saying that he and God the Father are on the same level and they're equal. And this is like mind-blowing in the Jewish world. And so everyone freaks out and they go to stone him because they're like, we're stoning you because you're claiming to be God. It's not because of your miracles. It's not because you're casting out demons. And it's not because of anything you've done. We're stoning you because you claim to be God. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was Jesus and I didn't intend to tell people that I was God, I would have been like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We've got a huge misunderstanding here. I never said I was God. I'm not claiming that. He would have probably talked his way out of it. But Jesus doesn't do that, because when he said, I and the Father are one, he was claiming to be God. He knew exactly what he was saying, and the people knew what he was saying because they wanted to kill him for it. One last point. Jesus allowed people to call him God. When people would worship Jesus, he would allow them to do that. You might remember the story of Thomas, doubting Thomas. In John chapter 20, it's after the resurrection, and Jesus appears to all of his disciples except Thomas isn't there. And so later the disciples tell Thomas about it, and they say, Thomas, Jesus is alive. And Thomas is like, look, I'm not going to believe you unless I can see Jesus with my eyes and I can touch him. And so Jesus, about 8 days later, he appears to Thomas and the rest of the disciples. And what does Thomas do? Thomas answered him, my Lord and my God. When Thomas sees Jesus, he says, "You are my Lord and you're my God." And what does Jesus do? Jesus doesn't say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Thomas, you've got things all wrong. I'm no God." No, Jesus accepts his worship. And that's because Jesus believed that he was God. Now, later on in the Bible, some of Jesus' followers, Paul and Barnabas, they're off on a missionary journey, and some of the people that they're telling about Jesus, they think that Paul and Barnabas are gods. And what do Paul and Barnabas do? They say, "Whoa, whoa, we're not gods. Don't worship us. Worship the God in heaven." And that's what you and I would do. If somebody fell down and worshiped me, and let me just say that's never happened, but if somebody did that, if they fell down and worshiped me, I'd be like, "Whoa, what are you doing? There's a real God and you should worship him." And Jesus would have done the same thing, except for the fact that Jesus is God himself and he claimed to be God. So let's put this all together. Jesus, in numerous instances, claimed to be God. If you understand the background of the Bible, and if you understand something about Jewish culture, Jesus claimed to be God. And the New Testament certainly affirms this over and over again, that Jesus is God. If you look in the description below this video, we've got other verses where Jesus claimed to be God. Also, if you have other Bible verses that we didn't include that you find are strong support for the deity of Jesus, you can go and put those in the comments below. And if you have any other questions that you'd like me to deal with in a video, please put them in the comments below and we'll try to get to them as soon as possible. We have new videos that come out on Mondays and Thursdays. We'd love to hear from you, and